not taking any chances.
With high surf advisory, rip currents, and things of that nature.
And why storms that don't have a direct impact can still pose a threat.
They can be several hundred miles offshore and still impact places like the Outer Banks.
Deadly flooding hits Arizona as desert communities face walls of water.
I've lived here my whole life, and I've never seen anything like this.
And an update on fall foliage colors across the country.
Foliage now reaching peak across parts of the Rocky Mountains.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Angela Brown. There are two tropical systems in the Atlantic this morning. Just a few days ago, it was feared one would make a direct hit on the U.S. But now all models show Tropical Storm Imelda strengthening into a hurricane, but staying in the Atlantic. It is expected to bring large waves and deadly rip currents to the southeast. Just to the east is Humberto, still a major Category 4 hurricane. It is not expected to directly threaten the U.S. Charleston, South Carolina, though, meteorologist Cheriston Clark is tracking the storms for us this morning.
Start with Humberto, still a powerful Category 4 hurricane, 130-mile-per-hour sustained winds. Off to the west of that, you're going to find Tropical Storm Imelda. Over top of the Bahamas this morning, 45-mile-per-hour sustained winds moving due north at 8 miles per hour. But we track this out. Yes, it is forecast to strengthen into a hurricane by tomorrow, but it's going to move off to the north and east. Quite the difference from what we were looking at Friday when those models were hinting at a direct impact to us. So the trend is our friend, as we like to call it. And then as it starts to move over those cooler waters by the end of this week going into next weekend, that's when it will start to weaken. So Humberto will drag it out to sea, but it doesn't mean that those impacts won't be felt here across the low country, right? Especially along our coastal communities.
Southeast coastal communities spent the weekend preparing for the storm just in case the track changes again. We have two reports, starting with Jamilka Gibson near West Palm Beach, Florida.
Tropical storm Imelda isn't expected to make landfall in South Florida, but its impacts are being felt.
A lot of waves and a lot of rain.
Rain bands from the storm system rolled into Martin County Sunday afternoon, drenching beaches and shaking up weekend plans. CBS 12 storm track meteorologists predict heavy downpours and gusty winds. That means hazardous conditions out on the water and along the shoreline.
We will see some coastal areas that affect our waterways with high surf advisory, rip currents, and things of that nature.
At Stewart Public Beach, double red flags warn swimmers to stay out of the water. But for beachgoers like Michelle Plaisted, the dramatic waves were worth the trip.
We've just been planning a little getaway for the day. The storm kind of made us want to come over this way more than anything, just to see the waves and stuff.
Meanwhile, Martin County Fire Rescue is urging caution and reminding beach lovers not to underestimate the risk.
Even the most confident swimmers can get caught up into a dangerous situation with regards to rip currents. If it's possible, if you do want to get into the water, try to stay near the shoreline if possible, and obviously don't take any unneeded risks.
The city of Charleston helping residents be prepared for possible flooding as Tropical Storm Imelda looks to bring rain and wind to the area.
Well, they gave me like 6, and I think I'm just going to have them kind of near the doors.
Starting early on Sunday morning, 3 locations providing free bags and sand, tallying up over 1,000 bags.
I think that it's like, I mean, if you have time to get it, it's free. You know, I mean, I think the county's trying to help us out. I don't think it'll harm anything. So.
Certain locations providing pre-made sandbags for the elderly or for those who are impaired, looking to make resources as available as possible. The city of Charleston backing down on some of their emergency plans, shortening the hours for free parking garages and ending their free sandbag program early as the storm begins to move west.
The storms here, they kind of, I don't know, they come and go, and we've been paranoid before, but now I'm kind of like used to it and just waiting for it to come.
And while the storm may be moving off the coast, residents still want to be cautious.
I'm not necessarily worried about this one, but it's the water is kind of concerning.
Although there's no major risk of the storm making landfall, the National Weather Service is still working with local emergency managers in the Carolinas. They say the storm does not need to have a direct impact to pose a serious threat. Amelia Paz has more.
In Eastern Carolina, emergency managers and the National Weather Service work hand in hand to translate forecasts into life-saving decisions.
We cover 15 counties here in eastern North Carolina. So every emergency manager in those counties we're in touch with all the time. What we're doing is we're taking the weather forecast data that we have and we're specifically honing in on those thresholds that they need information.
Ryan Ellis is a science and operations officer, and he says the impacts of these storms goes beyond landfall zones. Erosion being the #1 concern for this week after Hurricane Erin damaged parts of our coastline.
Now, we've already had a couple storms this year. Erin was earlier this year. And it doesn't matter if the storm is making landfall because it's the wave action that comes from those storms. They can be several hundred miles offshore and still impact places like the Outer Banks. That will be one of the main concerns for emergency managers.
From flooding warnings to erosion concerns, Newport's National Weather Service office keeps a constant line of communication with local emergency managers. By the time danger becomes visible, communities are already prepared.
At least 3 people are dead following flooding in Arizona Friday night. All 3 victims were in Gila County, about 90 minutes east of Phoenix. Torrential rain led to a creek overflowing, sending floodwaters rushing down neighborhood streets. Several cars were swept away as well. It also washed away an estimated 1,000 propane tanks. Residents say the flooding caught them by surprise.
Well, you can see. So the water came up, and they were saying that the cars were just tapping the windows.
I've lived here my whole life, and I've never seen anything like this.
The governor declared a state of emergency for the county and ordered the National Guard to help with recovery efforts. And when it comes to being prepared for severe weather, there is one tool that could save your life. Meteorologist Julia Haley shows us why weather radios are a must-have.
Radios use their own broadcast signal, not cell towers or the internet. Even if the power is out and everything goes dark, the warnings still come through. Users can program a radio by selecting their county, tuning to a clear channel, and adding backup batteries to keep it operating during an outage. When a warning is issued, the alarm is loud and immediate.
Showers likely with a chance of thunderstorms until midnight.
If there's no warning, it stays silent.
You're never going to be annoyed or be upset during a major storm that you're getting too much information, right? But it could be detrimental or even life-threatening if you're not getting that information at all.
And we continue to move deeper into the fall season, meaning more changing leaves. Let's turn to meteorologist Jordan Evans for the latest fall foliage update.
Fall foliage continues to expand across the nation. The latest from Explore Fall shows that foliage now reaching peak across parts of the Rocky Mountains, just outside of Denver, Summit County area, and outside of Salt Lake City. The higher elevations all seeing their peak fall color. Same for Yellowstone National Park area, parts of Montana and Idaho. We'd love to see your photos here at the National Weather Desk as well. Upper Midwest, parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan also approaching peak fall color. And the Northeast, we're getting close to peak now. The White Mountains there across New Hampshire, parts of Vermont, upstate New York and Maine. In the Mid-Atlantic, we'll start to see some of that fall foliage as well. Right on schedule so far for the most part. As we get into October, we'll start to see parts of the plains, the Ohio River Valley, and parts of the Southwest seeing their peak fall color by middle to late October. Parts of the Southeast, the Southern Plains, and the Southeast Coast. It's not until November for peak fall foliage. For the National Weather Desk, I'm meteorologist Jordan Evans.
And for all the latest weather news and video, be sure to follow us on social media. We also post content from our team of meteorologists across the country. You can find us on all your favorite social media platforms. Just search the National Weather Desk. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we'll look at why daily temperatures fluctuations are so common during the fall months. And we're going to also find out how officials in West Virginia are working to save brook trout as their population numbers take a hit.
I'm meteorologist Ryan Munn. Let's get a look at the Northeast. As we head through the day on Monday, we are talking lots of sunshine all throughout the region. We will see some clouds, though, develop in the southern part of New England and the Northeast as we head through the afternoon on Monday. But overall, it is going to stay dry across the region. And then those clouds will kind of stay with us as we head into the day on Tuesday as well. But we are going to see some clearing temperatures as we head through the day on Monday. We'll generally run in the 70s all across the Northeast.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Bailey. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. Other than seeing mostly clouds rolling in as we move through your Monday, looks like we'll have some light showers far to the southern side of the state here. We're talking everywhere from southern Maryland, Delaware, and through parts of northern Virginia. And it will continue to be that way as we move through Tuesday morning. But the clouds will start to empty out, and we're looking a lot drier. Temperatures will be warm to begin with, still in the 80s, but it looks like things will cool down a little bit as we head into Wednesday.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Vitas Reed. Here's a look at your southeast forecast highs. We're looking at 89 Nashville, 73, a little cooler in Raleigh, 79 Macon, 91 Mobile, 91 in Tampa. Something to watch is Imelda. We'll continue to see that storm move up off the east coast of Florida, but stays off the coast, get some circulation going. Pretty good tropical storm potential to become a Category 1 hurricane as we go through late Monday and then into Tuesday. But it's going to make its way away from the United States southeast and make some clearing across the southeast.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Catch these fall colors while they're hot. In Utah, a snapshot of leaves along the Monte Cristo Scenic Drive in north central Utah. And in south central Utah, a lovely drive under the aspens near Fish Lake, which is the largest natural mountain lake in the state. And these cool red rock formations and canyons are located near Capitol Reef National Park, another area chock full of natural wonders.
It was an unusually wet summer in Austin, Texas, including the historic flash flooding in early July. Still, officials enacted a burn ban due to heightened wildfire risk. For many in the area, the burn bans are nothing new, with some areas being under a continuous ban since 2018. Mitty Maturano has more.
One spark can ruin your day and cost you a lot.
It's been out of sight and out of mind for months, but a burn ban is back for Travis County.
Those fuels are now dried out and ready to burn.
Under it, open fires such as brush burning or bonfires, the outdoor burning of trash, leaves, and debris, and campfires or fire pits are banned in unincorporated parts of Travis County. Wilton Harris Jr. lives in one of those areas, and he said he's glad county officials are taking proper safety measures.
A dropped cigarette, a trailer hitch, anything like that, and you have a potential massive fire that could damage property and people's livelihoods.
Travis County had been under a constant burn ban from 2018 through December of last year. It came back periodically during the spring in between our bouts of rain, and it was lifted in the summer after heavy rains and flooding. Robert Ortiz with Travis County ESD2 says the summer storms helped a lot of vegetation grow. Mix that with the hot and dry conditions we've now been seeing, and he says it's the perfect recipe for wildfires, prompting a need to reissue the ban.
Make sure that you keep fire extinguishers on hand. Make sure that you have water readily available.
The burn ban will remain in place until October 21st, or it can be lifted earlier by the county fire marshal or judge.
So if we do get enough rain to warrant lifting the burn ban, we can do that immediately. I just don't know if we're going to get the rain.
The brook trout in West Virginia state fish, but their numbers have declined over the years. Meteorologist Brandon Silver takes us to one of the highest places in the state to show us how biologists are trying to help them.
The Dolly Sods region is known for its windswept vistas and a landscape that looks more like Canada instead. Years ago, it was also known for having a healthy brook trout population, but that's not the case anymore. Red Creek, the main waterway on this highest plateau east of the Mississippi River, is now mainly lifeless.
Up here at 4,000 feet, temperatures aren't a problem for brook trout. It's the acidic nature of this water, but this limestone sand should change that in the coming years.
The lime has what we call buffering capacity, so it's alkaline and it takes the acidity down to hopefully roughly 6.5. That's ideal. We just have to fix the water to get the fish to move up.
The bog is naturally acidic, but acid rain from industry sources has been the main issue. Over time, the lime will gradually dissolve and move downstream. Positive results have already been seen just 3 years after the project started.
This year we actually got a bunch of creek chubs, so we're pretty excited about that. No brook trout yet, but creek chubs.
Okay.
That's a start. It's a very hard task. We stage lime about 2.5 miles back down the road. And then we use this Paramac crawler that hauls roughly 10 ton at a time. And we take it up an extremely difficult road. So it takes me roughly 2 hours to get up and back each load. So, I mean, 3 loads a day, you're pretty maxed out.
The need for this sand will likely last forever, but the payoff should be worth it.
I think West Virginia's always valued the brook trout, not more than other fish, but I mean, it's our gem.
It's a wreck, but also a treasure, a historical finding 139 years in the making. What you see here is video of the F.J. King, a schooner lost in the waters of Lake Michigan in 1886. Thanks to new technology, though, researchers are studying the ship's remains. Eric Peterson has more.
Computer-generated images show the wreck of the F.J. King in 2025. Maritime historian Brendan Baylod says people were looking for the missing schooner for years, but he says an old newspaper article led to more questions.
It was about a year ago that I found this account. I was reinvestigating the wreck from the ground up. That's what I do. I start from scratch using only primary sources, and I sort of rebuild the history of the wreck.
Baylod is president of the Wisconsin Underwater Archaeology Association. He assembled a crew of citizen scientists to find the wreck. First, using sonar images.
We kind of saw this big dark object come and start to materialize, and all of a sudden we saw hatches and a deck, and we could see a bow and a stern.
Next, this submersible drone was sent down. Dan Clewine was at the controls.
Visibility was very poor, and weren't sure if we were going to find it, even to be able to identify it or find it. And all of a sudden, it just popped into broad view, just timbers of a vessel. And well, we got a wreck, and the excitement was just shared by everybody. That we had actual visual contact of it, and were able to identify, as the F.J. King.
We were, really be over the moon about it. We immediately called the state underwater archaeologist and said, we found her. It really is a time capsule. It's one of the best preserved wrecks in Door County waters, if not the best preserved.
Depending on where you live, daily temperatures might seesaw between warm and cool in the fall months. Green Bay meteorologist Audrey Lee explains the reasons behind fall temperature fluctuations.
As the seasons change, so does the sun's angle. In the fall, the sun is actually lower in the sky. The sunlight hits the ground at a slant, spreading the sun's energy over a larger area. It's like shining a flashlight at an angle instead of straight down. Sunlight is also weaker at a lower angle, which in turn warms the surface more slowly versus the summer. Now, clear, calm nights in the fall also play a role. Overnight, the ground loses the heat that's absorbed during the daytime. And when the skies are clear, there's really nothing to trap that heat. So the air near the surface cools very quickly. That's actually called radiational cooling. It's why overnight temperatures start to feel pretty crispy this time of the year. And as soon as the sun starts rising, the air warms pretty quickly. Dry fall air heats faster than humid summer air because there's less moisture to trap heat, making some afternoons in the fall surprisingly pretty warm. And combining that with the clear nights and the clear skies, the sun's lower angle, we get the big temperature swings between the morning and afternoon.
As we head to break, a look at the University of Washington's crew team practicing near their Seattle campus.
Good Monday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Humberto Michael. A few clouds bubbling up across the plains for the day today. Temperatures into the 80s for most of the Midwest, or 90s. It's going to be a very warm Monday for us. Tomorrow, got a few more clouds out across the plains, but still 80s and even a few 90s there on the map for the day tomorrow, including a few 70s closer to the Great Lakes. Slightly cooler for most of us by Wednesday.
Good Monday morning. I'm meteorologist Joe DiCarlo. Look at your forecast across the region, and we'll have a few passing clouds, maybe a sprinkle or a light shower across portions of West Texas through the day today, but otherwise it's quiet across the region with some passing clouds. 80s to about 90 for that afternoon high temperature for most. As we head into your Tuesday, more clouds in our eastern half of our region. Otherwise, more warm temperatures. Mornings in the 60s, afternoons upper 80s to low 90s.
Good Monday morning, everybody. I'm meteorologist Stella Sun. A frontal system will sweep its way across the Pacific Northwest, bring much needed rain. Meanwhile, showers and thunderstorms will start to shake out across parts of the Rocky Mountain West from Denver. Temperatures dropping into the 70s there, low 80s through Salt Lake City. Also seeing mostly in the 70s from San Francisco through San Diego. Meanwhile, 60s returned in the forecast for Seattle and Portland with off and on showers expected. Temperatures will start to warm up to 88 in Las Vegas.
I'm Chase Thomason, meteorologist at KUTV in Salt Lake City, Utah, and you're watching the National Weather Desk.
Well, leaf peeping is popular in New England, but part of the area has been dealing with drought conditions. Meteorologist AJ Mastrangelo looks at how it's impacting the fall foliage.
I'm meteorologist AJ Mastrangelo. Thank you for joining us for the first week of autumn in New England. We're starting to see some color pop, not a whole lot locally, but off to the north, we're talking about the White Mountains of New Hampshire alongside the Green Mountains, now seeing some moderate color. Now, unfortunately, they have seen a little bit of some drought conditions there for northern New England, but this color is moving southward. Worcester Hills, parts of the higher terrain here and around the Providence area is starting to see some color too. This is from North Smithfield, a beautiful photo. Thank you, Bill, for sending in that photo, chiming in that photo. We can see some nice colors starting to show up there in North Smithfield. We'll take a trip further southward. Charlestown, not quite as much. Patricia out on the water enjoying some of the nice skies there, the blue sky, but still a decent amount of some green, just some yellows starting to show up now. North Kingstown, South Kingstown, similar story, some yellows, a little bit more in the way of some green. We got to wait a little bit longer till we see some of that peak foliage down here for southern New England.
And we'd love to share your weather content on the air. You can find us on all your favorite social media platforms. Just search National Weather Desk. We'll be right back. And thank you so much for joining us. I'm Angela Brown. Make it a great day, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow.